Hey there YouTube, this is Louis, and I thought that I would wish you a Merry Christmas, although the point of this introduction is to direct you to the affiliate links in the description of this video, where you can pick yourself up something nice for Christmas. Be sure to make it White Christmas, and there's nothing to read into that other than, snow. And I know people that don't like snow, they find it to be a pain in the ass, they find it to be sort of interfering with their daily life, but I'm willing to defend snow. I think that there's nothing more pure than a driven snow. But one thing I want to say while we're talking about Christmas is, the fact that you can't help but have these different cafe chains pushing their homosexual agenda with these goddamn coffee cups. This advert took a weird turn. I don't really know where I'm going. I'm kind of going off on a weird tangent, but yeah. Why don't you go buy yourself some kind of, anime shit from one of these fucking websites? PlayAsia's got other shit too, but no one seems to buy any kind of normal shit, man. People buy some weird shit, and I know half the time what people buy. I don't think you really know that. Maybe I probably shouldn't say that shit. Forget what I just said. I don't know what I'm talking about. Be sure to go to these fucking affiliates and buy something. You could be the fucking exception, buy something normal. I don't give a shit. I just get the fucking commission. That's all I care about. Anyway, links in the description. Merry Christmas and all that shit. Stop promoting this fucking homosexual shit on these coffee cups. Links will be in the description. Hey there, guys. This is Louis, and this is going to be a unplanned and unscripted commentary, which is, as I've said in the past, is not always a good sign for quality, but I decided to sit down and record this after, just a decent amount of time thinking about it. I went for a walk earlier in the evening, and I was contemplating some of the headlines that I saw from today, and one of the things that I saw from this morning when I was doing surveillance was this one article that was tweeted out by Chuck Schumer, who is a senator from New York, the senior senator from New York. He's also a major figure now in the Democratic Party after the aftermath of the 2016 election. He has been fairly influential, but he is a proxy Clintonite. He's a loyalist to the Clinton machine, but he has been making noises as though he's going to be changing into some kind of, instead of the blue dogs, you're now getting the blue progressives, which is like, they are a corporatist progressive alliance, where they will pander and make all the same noises as progressives on identity politics, but in the end they are corporatists. There are a substantial number of progressives, self-identified progressives, that will go along with these kind of people and the noises that they're making, because they will ultimately see it as an end for themselves. I've heard, of all people, Jimmy Dore saying the exact opposite. In fact, I uploaded a video where he pointed out the fact that Chuck Schumer endorsing Keith Ellison to be the head of the DNC is a warning sign of Keith Ellison, that it is not a sound endorsement, and it is not Chuck Schumer, a through-and-through corporatist. It is not someone that is a dyed-in-the-wool corporatist changing their positions, their principles, because ultimately, when you are a corporatist, you have no principles. Your master is corporations. That's who you serve. That is the interests that you serve. And so, when you have someone like Chuck Schumer endorsing Keith Ellison, it is a bad sign that he sees something in Keith Ellison that ultimately aligns with his sole interest, which is corporatism. Jimmy Dore is a mixed bag, and eventually I'll do a video on him, but unfortunately, as always, as I've said many times, it's a matter of time. But for right now, I wanted to talk about the fact that this morning I saw an article that Chuck Schumer sent out where he was on, I believe, a Sunday show, and he talked about his concerns that the Russian government had hacked the U.S. election. I've seen this talking point evolve in a way where it is now, in my opinion, dangerous. We are entering the territory of dangerous speech, And I need people to understand when I say that, I genuinely mean it. This is not me, this is not me as someone that is a free speech absolutist saying that I think that he should be banned from television or anything to that degree. But what I am saying is that you are willingly misinforming the public with a lie that is on par with conflating Iraq with 9/11. It is dangerous speech. You are hijacking the emotional outpouring of a public that saw something that didn't exist in a candidate that was ultimately a loser. You're taking advantage of their outrage and spinning it into anger against a foreign nation and the president-elect, who I don't like. I didn't vote for. I think he's a fucking clown. I think that, again, I've said this, he makes George W. Bush look like Dwight D. Eisenhower. Donald Trump will be a terrible president. For those of you that disagree, I think that you have your head up your own ass. I think he will be a terrible president. And while he says neat things like he did today on was it Lockheed Martin or Boeing? Or maybe they're the same corporation now. I don't even know. But he said something about Boeing, I believe, and it was good to hear. It was good to hear him talk shit about Boeing, because Boeing is fucking this country out of money. But regardless of his rhetoric, I think Donald Trump is going to be a bad president. But me having that opinion is not the same as me spreading misinformation that increases the likelihood of Donald Trump being assassinated. There's a difference between me calling Donald Trump a cunt, okay, and me saying that Donald Trump is performing a coup d'etat, or performed a coup d'etat, and is an illegitimate leader. He is not the president-elect. He hijacked something and he has performed a coup d'etat and has gained power through illegitimate means. I have seen numerous political figures at the level of Chuck Schumer, who is not a small person. He is the senator of a major state, senior senator, and has major influence within the Democratic Party. This is not a no one. And he's saying, and he's not just implying, but he's outright saying that Russia hacked the U.S. election and that as a result has led to Donald Trump becoming president. And this all comes on the heels of this anti-Trump movement beginning, where you see the militant kind of aspect to it. You see them calling themselves the resistance. You see them implying that this was an illegitimate election. You see them demanding for there to be some kind of recall or the election to be done again. You see this being said. You see them screaming endlessly about the Electoral College, calling it an illegitimate means to be elected. They call for it to be overthrown, to be eliminated. They think that the popular vote is the only determination of who should be president. And now they've given up on that. They've now just said that the election was hacked, it was rigged, and that Donald Trump seized the presidency, that he did not win, that he seized it. You have people like Keith Olbermann, who has taken full advantage of this, and he has said that we are now at war with Russia, capitalizing on all the rhetoric of all these different politicians who are saying that we've been attacked by Russia. We've been attacked by Russia. That's what these people are saying. And you have people like Keith Olbermann going on television saying that we are now at war with Russia. This has entered into the range of dangerous speech. This has entered into the range where you should have wall-to-wall coverage of any, just mainstream journalists, fringe journalists, it doesn't matter. You should have people on television actively saying this is equivalent to what we heard during the Cold War about political enemies being loyal to the communists, having sympathies to the communists, having allegiances or ties to the communists. It's the same fucking thing. And it's gotten to the degree where that is not even equivalent anymore. It's gotten worse than that, because they are now actively saying that Donald Trump is a Russian agent. Donald Trump did not actually win the election. He seized the presidency. And you have people that are full of rage, full of anger, that for whatever reason back this corporatist cunt. And you have these politicians playing on that fear. Playing on the fact that they think in their own minds that Donald Trump is Hitler 2.0. They actually believe that. This is not memes. This is not bullshit. They legitimately think that this guy is the second coming of fucking Adolf Hitler. They think he's a fucking Nazi. Not just a fascist, but a full-blown Nazi. That's why when they talk about white supremacy, this is all playing into this guy being literally Hitler. Okay, again, not memes. Them literally politicians, influential politicians that have been in government for decades. And they're now saying that this guy is an illegitimate president. They're saying that he's a Russian agent. You got these fucking hacks saying we're at war right now. I mean, this is the kind of language, this is the kind of speech, this is the kind of rhetoric and nonsense and propagandizing that leads to political leaders being assassinated. This is the kind of shit that you have floating around. Misinformation, inciting violence, by implying things that are not in any way substantiated by evidence. You have the CIA coming out, backing this shit, as if they have any credibility after 60 years of failures, serial failures, as if the CIA has any credibility. But this is the deep state. This is the internal mechanisms of the government lashing out. Because, I mean, on the same day that all this is happening, you have Donald Trump, in his rhetoric at least, smacking one of the biggest defense contractors in the fucking country, in the world, talking shit about a massive military program. Okay, this is the kind of shit where the deep state and the politicos, the corporatists, they see everything on the line. Despite the fact, again, I forget what the line is. Someone said it that Donald Trump is draining the swamp, and yet every person he's inviting in to do it is Swamp Thing. It's a joke. He's bringing in corporatists to his administration. So his rhetoric is very nice, but his actions speak otherwise to what kind of administration he'll have. Again, I don't support him. I don't like Donald Trump. I think he's going to be a bad president. He's just going to be another corporatist. But it's like, I don't want the guy to be fucking assassinated. I don't want to have some attempt at a coup by fucking retards within my own political party. People that can't get over the fact that this fucking old, goddamn, lame, limp dick, limp-wristed, corporatist, sellout, fucking awful candidate, the worst political candidate in my fucking lifetime. That's who Hillary Clinton was. Illegitimate. Cheated the entire way to get to that nomination and lost. And should have won. She should have won the presidency. She should have won. She had the money, she had the power, she had all the interest in the world on her side, and she still lost because she is the worst candidate in my lifetime. Bar none. She's the worst. She's a failure. She's a fucking loser. She is garbage. That's why she lost. Not because Donald Trump is good, because she is terrible. It will always be terrible. But that doesn't justify what's happening. That doesn't justify the fact that progressives, the corporatists, the mainstream Democrats, not just within the party, but the public, they are going apeshit into conspiracy theories and nonsense that's being backed up by the deep state. You have the CIA backing this shit. And it's dangerous. This is legitimately dangerous for them to be playing with. Because, again, this is the kind of shit that leads to political leaders being assassinated. This is the kind of shit you see. You claim that he's illegitimate. You claim the election was rigged. It wasn't a real outcome. It was rigged in his favor by a foreign power. When, in fact, no. She, Hillary Clinton, she was the one with foreign ties to Saudi Arabia. How much money they've shoveled in to her campaign, to her fucking foundation, to her as a person. How much money foreign entities have invested into her to come in and sign the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Shinzo Abe, which I believe is the prime minister, the president, whatever, of Japan, he's scrambling at this point. That's why he's white knighting all this feminist bullshit, and has been for a while, because his meal ticket is gone. He lost the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So you have all these Japanese rich people, all these people that had all this investment in Clinton winning, and they're out a fucking corporatist president. They're out. They might be able to fucking win over Donald Trump, but they're going to have to suck his dick first. They haven't bought him off yet. They have to buy him off, and I think he is, available to be bought, but they have to do it. They have to invest more money. They have to buy him off. And for whatever reason, they think that he's not, they think he's a populist when he's not. He's a corporatist. Look at who he's putting in his administration. He's not a fucking populist. And this isn't a partisan thing. Okay, I expect him to put conservatives in his cabinet. But he's putting in corporatists. He's putting in the head of banks. Okay? He's a corporatist. He's another fraud. Donald Trump is not a reformer. He's not a populist. He's not going to do anything other than suit his own fucking agenda, whatever that happens to be. So yeah, I just wanted to, upload this, and maybe I'll do it tonight because it's late enough. I gotta fucking finish this goddamn report. But I just thought I would do this commentary, and leave it at that. Just because I think we've reached my limitations of how much I'm willing to just hear and read and absorb without actually responding to it. We have reached that point where I have had enough. I can't take this anymore. Please stop it, Democratic Party. Please stop it, hacky pundits. Please stop, mainstream public, who want to call themselves the resistance and all this fucking bullshit. Okay, this is worse than Brexit. You had all these fucking retards marching in Brexit and all that shit, but I never heard any of this fucking militaristic rhetoric. I never heard them, getting into the weeds of, talking about overthrowing the fucking government because Hillary Clinton lost. Or, because they're leaving the UN. I never heard that. Maybe they did it in I'm not English, so I didn't know. But it's fucking ridiculous at this point. But I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for listening.